Coming up, Dominican Republic Tzu Chi volunteers hand out medical kits to needy families in Romana. Tzu Chi volunteers in Vietnam and Cambodia who volunteer training seminars for those that wish to walk the Tzu Chi path. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. First up, in the Dominican Republic, as part of the celebration for the 15th anniversary of the Tzu Chi Dominican Republic Liaison Office, a medical kit distribution was held in the community of La Romana. Upon seeing how residents were in need of simple and commonly used medication, volunteers decided to provide them with these items and also make sure residents know how to use them properly.
I previously came across a child with a bit of a fever, and they said because they don't have money to buy medicine, they used a bucket of water with herbs that we couldn't recognize to wipe the child's head. The water wasn't even clean, so my heart really ached. We decided then to distribute emergency medical kits to them.
Master Zhen Yan hopes that besides caring for Tzu Chi's children, that we must also take care of their families.
It is just like what Sister Lu Rong said. The medical kits will run out one day, so volunteers in the Dominican Republic will need to carry out the follow-up work.
For children who are receiving their first dental treatment, this is a nerve-wracking moment. On site to help is 13-year-old Liu Qi-yu, who assists by filling out everyone's information.
I tell the other children not to worry and that it won't hurt much.
We couldn't pull his teeth out because we haven't been able to anesthetize him. We have already tried 3 times.
By turning their large-scale free clinic into a medical kits distribution, Tzu Chi volunteers hope to provide basic and commonly used medications to families and also help them learn how to properly use them.
Besides looking at the picture, we do recommend that parents ask someone who can read to confirm whether the medication is suitable for their condition.
Following the distribution, volunteers visit residents to see if the right information has been absorbed.
Porque uno tiene ácido, si como una comida se cae mal.
啊，对，这个是胃痛的，你看他知道。Tú lo reconoces como muñequito. 啊，对，他是靠这个图样来认的。¿Y qué más? ¿Qué más? Y esto, vamos a hacer. ¿Y esto para qué?
Para el dolor.
Hachú, hachú. ¿Para qué?
In the days ahead, volunteers vow to continue to provide love and care to ensure a better and brighter future for the residents of La Romana.
As part of the celebration for the 15th birthday of the Tzu Chi Dominican Republic Liaison Office, nearly 300 participants came to attend an evening festival. Students at the Tzu Chi La Romana school put on performances, while Tzu Chi volunteers from the United States, Honduras, and El Salvador also joined in the event to offer their well wishes.
Dale, 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 no pierdas el tino. Dale, 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 no pierdas el camino. Para Tzu Chi de República Dominicana, feliz aniversario con mucho cariño, El Salvador.
Le deseamos feliz aniversario a nuestros hermanos Tzu Chi dominicanos. De ternura le venimos a felicitar.
In the Dominican Republic, we often see female volunteers take on male volunteer roles. It is really quite brave of them to do so.
In a blink of an eye, Tzu Chi's Dominican Republic Liaison Office is 15 years old. On the night of the celebration, U.S. New Jersey Chapter Director Lin Lu Rong thanked former and present Director Cai Ci-li and Zhang Cihui respectively for their bravery in leading a mostly female team of volunteers in carrying out Tzu Chi's charitable deeds in the country.
These sisters have really put in a lot of their time into spreading Tzu Chi, and like me, they're getting old, but seeing how Tzu Chi has flourished and taken root here really comforts me.
Felicia, a proud graduate of La Romana Tzu Chi Elementary, entertains the audience by performing the Chinese song, The Universal Three No's, perfectly. Putting their hearts into their performance, the performers look forward to 15 more years of Tzu Chi in the Dominican Republic.
To the one who made us brothers and sisters, to the one who gathered us here, who made us humans and who made us useful. Master Zheng Yan.
Tzu Chi is planting roots here and adapting to the local lifestyle because in these past few years, there has been a loss of members from the Taiwanese business community. So we have been training more local volunteers.
To help celebrate this momentous occasion, Tzu Chi volunteers from the United States, Honduras, and El Salvador all came to offer their blessings.
本土志工云来集，
中南美洲一家亲。
漂洋过海传大爱，生生世世慈济情。在地生根种福田，广邀菩萨慈济行。
In Lesotho, as 40% of the country's residents live in poverty, Tzu Chi volunteers conduct regular home visits to bring love and care to those in need. Recently, under the leadership of local volunteers, Tzu Chi expanded their home visitations to even more remote areas of Lesotho.
On their recent round of home visitations in the landlocked African country of Lesotho, Tzu Chi volunteers and local volunteers come across a road blocked by mud and rocks.
Mud and rocks, let's see how to walk up the path.
Undeterred by the obstacles before them, one by one, the team of bodhisattvas get out of their car and walks into the lives of these villagers. Nadan, who wears a pair of sunglasses and suffers from a leg disability, uses his arms to help him move about. Seeing the angels clad in blue and white for the first time, Nadan is quite curious about who has come calling. The volunteers' next stop is a small community called Tababosiu, where local volunteers on their own distributed 50 packs of rice and blankets. Among the recipients was KK So, a former polio sufferer who was very guarded at first.
When volunteers first arrived and asked to take a picture with him, he refused because many other organizations had been here and taken pictures, but then nothing came of it.
Using love and patience, local volunteers tear down the walls in KK So's heart. And soon, everyone is having a laugh like old friends.
In Vietnam and Cambodia, Tzu Chi volunteers organize training seminars for trainees who wish to join the Buddhist NGO. At the training held in Vietnam's Ho Chi Minh City, volunteers joined their counterparts in Taiwan via video conferencing, and some 40 volunteers in Cambodia also attended the training held at the local liaison office.
Knowing what etiquette must be presented by Tzu Chi volunteers, participants break into laughter upon seeing the wrong behavior. Here at a volunteer training seminar in Cambodia, trainees are gaining wisdom and inspiration through such events. K recipient Mr. Chen once lived a luxurious lifestyle, and though life has turned out to be different than expected, he remains positive.
The reason why I ended up where I am now is probably because of all the karma I created in my past life and all the bad habits I adopted. I'm happy to accept it all.
To spread seeds of love further, the Tzu Chi Cambodia Liaison Office held their first training seminar here to help 13 local volunteers gain a better understanding of the Buddhist NGO.
We are gathering in different parts of the world in different time zones to study together. Do you know how many locations are connected through video conferencing? More than 30.
Meanwhile, 40 volunteers from the Tzu Chi Vietnam Liaison Office joined their counterparts in Taiwan's Northern District at the 2014 Tzu Chi Commissioner and Citizen Training Seminar. Those who do not understand Mandarin uses a headphone to listen to a translation. Among the participants, Fan Wenjun from the Haidong Province Association for the Blind took a 2-hour flight to Ho Chi Minh City to attend the event and was much inspired upon learning of Tzu Chi's 10 precepts.
I personally must work even harder to realize Master Zhen Yan's philosophy. I am very grateful.
With the same goal of making a difference to society and reaching out to all dark corners, Tzu Chi volunteers worldwide vow to remain diligent in walking the Tzu Chi path.
In Taiwan, Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital medical staff recently treated 9-year-old Chen for her congenital scoliosis. Also receiving treatment at the hospital was Wu Yi, whose legs and hands needed amputation. After undergoing 3 successful operations, Yi and her mother seized the chance to show their deep thanks to the medical staff.
2 days before leaving the hospital, Wu Yi and her mother come to express their thanks and say goodbye to the nurses who have tended to Yi over the past few months. After suffering from a cold for more than a year, Yi's legs and hands became infected and required amputation.
I was in the hospital to look after her, and when I saw her hands and legs, I just couldn't hold back my tears. I just couldn't.
In March 2013, with the assistance of Tzu Chi volunteers, Yi was transferred to the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital to undergo 3 operations. The medical team first removed the dead tissue in her limbs before amputating both her hands and legs. However, following a skin graft, Yi suffered from an inflammation of the pancreas.
After we amputated her left hand and leg, she had a fever. However, that's normal because children are prone to fevers.
Knowing that she will be going home soon, Yi is all smiles. Before she leaves the hospital, doctors give her one more checkup and discuss her future rehabilitation. Later, Yi's mother gives doctors a thank you card to express her gratitude.
Although Yi lost her hands and legs, she is still able to feel the love around her.
Thanks to the love and care of Tzu Chi volunteers and medical staff, Yi and her family members have gained strength to move on, as they know no matter what difficulties they face ahead, Tzu Chi will always be around. Also at the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital, 9-year-old Chen is here to receive treatment for her congenital scoliosis. Currently, Chen is being looked after by her grandparents in Taiwan, as her parents are in China for business.
She often caught colds or suffered from respiratory problems, and she missed several classes. Sometimes her grandparents had to send her to the hospital at midnight. When we received the call, we would travel back to Taiwan immediately.
Chen's parents later sent her to the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital for treatment. There, Dr. Zheng Xiaozhu and his medical team carried out corrective surgery on the girl's spine. Now she is growing normally and is able to move freely.
She suffered from congenital scoliosis, which left her pelvis tilted and legs uneven. We carry out corrective surgery on her spine. After the operation, her body balance has improved greatly.
Before Chen leaves the hospital, the superintendent and Dr. Zheng Xiaozhu hand out a few gifts.
We wish you good health and hope you will grow up tall and healthy. Remember to help those in need.
In return, Chen also hands out handmade gifts and cards to thank the medical personnel.
感谢曾伯伯。
Thank you, Dr. Zheng, for treating me. Thank you, everyone, for changing my life for the better.
With the medical staff's blessings and encouragement, Chen is ready to move on towards a brighter future ahead.
Also in Taiwan, following the first corrective surgery to treat her deformed knees, Chen Tuanzhi from Xiamen, China, recently underwent a second surgery on her other leg at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital. Under the guidance of Honorary Superintendent Chen Yinghe and his medical team, the second corrective surgery was also a success.
Prior to her second corrective surgery, Tzu Chi volunteers are there to offer Chen Tuanzhi their blessings. Chen said she's very confident in the skills of her medical team. This time, Honorary Superintendent Chen Yinghe and his medical team plan to straighten Tuanzhi's left leg despite the experience gained from the previous operation. Dr. Chen said this surgery will be even more difficult than the first one.
Not only did her bones deform, but also her peripheral ligaments and muscles turned stiff.
Suffering from congenital knee hyperextension, Chen Tuanzhi has her left knee hyperextended 150 degrees. Following a 3-hour operation, Chen's leg was straightened successfully.
In today's surgery, we successfully made a 130-degree correction. That's the result we expected in our pre-surgery assessment.
Seeing her daughter safe and stable in the recovery room, Chen Tuanzhi's mother can finally relax. In 3 weeks following, the medical team will carry out another operation to treat Chen's ankle.
The Tzu Chi Club of National Kaohsiung University of Applied Sciences recently held a 2-day camp for children from remote regions, giving these youngsters a weekend of fun and learning. Running the camp was Tzu Chi郭宜珍and Tzu Chi volunteer Jiang Yuying, who supported each other every step of the way to ensure the event went off without a hitch.
Using their full concentration, these campers are trying to move marbles with chopsticks or stack blocks with one hand. At another activity, the campers work together, leaving a lasting impression on the importance of teamwork. These children from remote areas are enjoying a fun 2-day camp ran by the Tzu Chi Club of the National Kaohsiung University of Applied Sciences. Many of the college students that volunteer their weekend are first-timers and found room for improvement in their performances.
This is my first time helping. I didn't do so well. I think I have plenty of room for improvement.
I think the next time we hold another event like this, we should put more effort into the details.
We came across many situations, and it was a good opportunity for us to learn from them.
Although the camp was short, it was one filled with learning for both young and old. Holding the microphone and leading everyone in a sign language song is the camper's promoter, Tzu Chi郭宜珍. Her liveliness today is in stark contrast to her shy former self.
I think where I have changed the most is in the past people would feel that I'm cold, but after being in Tzu Chi and receiving so much love, one starts to want to spread that love further. Now my classmates will say that I'm always smiling.
Guo's spiritual sustenance is Tzu Chi volunteer Jiang Yuying, who is like a second mother to the young girl.
I will tell Mama Yuying my problems, no matter if it's a situation in the Tzu Chi Club or how I am feeling.
I've been a mentor to many Tzu Chis for some 20 years now, and I'm really thankful for these young bodhisattvas. They have taught me how to be more flexible in my ways.
Supporting each other on the Tzu Chi path, the camp held by Guo Yizhen and other Tzu Chins spreads the love they receive to children from remote regions.
In the United States, as the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women is holding their annual meeting in New York, the Tzu Chi Foundation also held seminars based on the topic of the light of hope, to which it invited women who are role models in rural communities to speak.
Following the 2010 Haiti earthquake, many female disaster victims worked to rebuild their lives and in the process joined Tzu Chi's ranks in spreading love to those in greater need.
I see many female volunteers playing very important roles in Tzu Chi. It is an opportunity to allow us to better ourselves while helping others. This is why I am willing to follow Tzu Chi's footsteps in serving our community in Haiti.
As the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women is holding their annual meeting in New York, the Tzu Chi Foundation also seized the chance to organize seminars to which 2 volunteers from Haiti were invited to speak of their experiences since joining the charity organization. Meanwhile, 2 volunteers from the Philippines also shared their Tzu Chi experiences through video conferencing. Among them, Jennifer Celisa, who was once addicted to gambling, spoke of how she became a member of the Buddhist NGO. The story behind every volunteer went to show that as long as one has the heart to give, anything is possible.
In our next report, we go to Taiwan's Yunlin to meet 6th grader Lin Jianming. With his mother no longer around and father at a nursing home due to a severe illness, Ling and his siblings are left to look after their 80-year-old grandmother themselves. As Ling's sister is the sole breadwinner of the family, Ling decided to take on full responsibility for looking after his grandmother. For this video act, he later won recognition from the Taiwan Fund for Children and Families. Checking on his grandmother as soon as he arrives home from school is 6th grader Lin Jianming. Next, he prepares a cup of warm milk for his grandmother to drink. Other than accompanying his grandmother, Lin Jianming also entertains her by playing his Chinese flute. Ling's 80-year-old grandma had a stroke 2 years ago, and his father is currently living at a nursing home. With his mother passing away at a young age, Ling and his siblings are left to look after their grandmother.
I sleep on the chair, so when my grandmother calls me, I can be by her side. When the weather is nice, I will bring her out on her wheelchair so she can enjoy the weather too.
With so many children in the family, Lin Jianming was nearly given away. Thankfully, Ling's grandmother insisted on keeping him by her side.
If we have good meals, we can eat together and vice versa. He is such a caring child.
As Ling's eldest sister is the sole breadwinner, Ling has taken on the responsibility of looking after their grandmother.
He decided himself to look after our grandmother. He is such a sweet brother.
Lin Jianming's acts of filial piety have won him recognition from the Taiwan Fund for Children and Families. Despite living in hardship, this is one family that knows as long as they stay together, the days will be filled with happiness and laughter. We go to China at the end of the show. Following the recent Kunming attack in Yunnan province, Tzu Chi volunteers have been mobilized to care for those affected by the incident. Thanks to volunteers' love and support, a senior that was injured decided to let go of her hatred and happily went home fully recovered. We will leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.